Hi, welcome to the topic Psychological Perspective of Self, or the self from the perspective of psychology. Hi, I am your first reporter, Princess Danica Mel Ale Har. And I will be introducing to you what psychology is and the first four theories under it. Now let's go. First, before we go down to the deeper explanations and deeper talks about psychology in the first four theories, let's now first know the learning objectives rather under this topic. The first one is to appreciate the different psychological theories about self. The second one is to make use of Psikolohiyang Pilipino as a lens in understanding the self. The third one is to use the psychological, cognitive, and affective makeup of a team. And number 4 is to develop a strategy for mental health. Now let's go down. And welcome to our introduction. The Greek philosophers pioneered most of the knowledge that we are learning today from the Western world. Do you know what it means by pioneered? If you don't know, the meaning of pioneered means they were the first one who ventured in an unknown territory. They were the first hand, okay? Like they were the researchers in that unknown topic. The Greek philosophers are the first hand or the primary sources of the knowledge that we are learning in the Western world nowadays. Okay? One of the most important studies is psychology or the study of the soul. But why is it called the study of the soul? Psychology is from the Greek words psych and logos, which means soul and to study, respectively. Psych means soul and logos means to study. When you combine them, it is study soul, study soul. Okay, to study soul. When you combine them properly, it's gonna be the study of the soul. That's why psychology is called the study of the soul. Okay? And additionally, do you know that the further explorations and writings in psychology is inspired from the book of Aristotle called De Anima? What is the Anima of Aristotle? What is this book about? The Anima is the first systematic philosophical account of the soul, which serves to explain the functioning of all mortal living things. That information, by the way, is from the Cambridge University Press. Now, let's go down to what is psychology, the deeper explanation of what is psychology. Okay, psychology is a study that deals with mental processes and behavior. Okay? What is mental processes? Mental processes deals with the cognitive function. What are these cognitive function? Cognitive function is what you called, in easy explanation, the way we are thinking or remembering or other activities that uses the brain. Okay? While human behavior is about the individual's thoughts, emotions, feelings, and actions. Okay. Next. Psychology is a constant dynamic in an individual's internal states that becomes manifested and expressed externally, that becomes overt and observable. Which means that it becomes an action. Okay? It manifested and it becomes an action. Okay? It means that our thought and feelings becomes a part of our what? Physical actions. And you know that we need to be aware of how our thoughts influences our actions. You know why? Because for us to understand ourselves better, we need to be aware first. Okay? Self-awareness is one of the many ways for us to answer the question, a very important question. What is that question? Right on the presentation. What is it? Who am I? Okay? Do you get it? I wish you do. And do you know that getting to know yourself in a psychological perspective is as important as understanding the self from others' perspectives. Okay? In the field of psychology, it is like opening a box of chocolate. Why? Because there is variety of theories to use as your lenses to understand the self or other people's unique personality. It is like this. For example, this chocolate chip box, okay? When you open it, bubuksan ko. When you open it, I can't open it. Oh, there's no ASMR. Sorry for that. When you open this chocolate chip box, I'm gonna get ants everywhere now. Oh my god, I need to swipe my floors. I need to wipe my floors. I need to sweep my floors. Okay. When you open this chocolate chip box of Chips Ahoy, so that's Chip Delight. There is 2, 4, 5, 6, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. There is 22 chips, right? And every chip here is distinct to each other. Why? For example, this chip, you see that it have 3 chips that is visible, while the other chip has more, right? Means they are distinct. There is difference, okay? They might be the same, they might be all cookies, but they have variety of distinct characteristics, okay? Do you understand? Just like that box of chocolate, there is a variety, alright? Okay. They are distinct varieties. And I will be talking about the first 4 theories under this topic. The first 4 theories under this topic is what we call the psychodynamic theory, the behaviorist theory, the social cognitive theory, and the humanist existentialist theory. Okay? Now let's go down. Now let's first talk about the psychodynamic theory. The main proponent of the psychodynamic theory is who we called Sigmund Freud. Yes, it is not Sigmund Freud, but Sigmund Freud, okay? You can search it up if you think it's kind of wrong, but based on what I've searched, it is pronounced as Freud, okay? Sigmund Freud is the main proponent of this theory with his followers like Jung, Adler, and Horney, and the others, okay? But who is Sigmund Freud? Sigmund Freud is an Austrian, yes, not Australian, not Canadian, but Austrian neurologist. What is neurologist? The doctor of the brain, okay? He is an Austrian neurologist and the founder of psychoanalysis, a clinical method for evaluating and treating pathologies in the psyche through dialogue between a patient and a psychoanalyst. He, Sigmund Freud, emphasizes that an individual's feelings and behavior is influenced by our unconscious motives, okay? Unconscious, okay? And according to Wilson in 2002, said that our unconscious mind is made up of mental processes. Again, what is mental processes? I said that earlier. mental processes deals with the cognitive function. Okay? Again, what is mental processes? Exactly. It deals with the cognitive functions. And that, by Wilson, he said that our mental processes influence our judgment, feelings, behaviors. Okay? Wilson said that our mental processes influences our judgment, our feelings, and our behavior, but it is not accessible in our conscious. Okay? That is what is like in the psychodynamic theory. Okay? It focuses on what does our unconscious mind do. Unconscious mind. Always remember this. In psychodynamic, in psychodynamic theory, it is about the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind, the unconscious motive. Remember the word what? Remember the word unconscious. Okay? Remember that word. That is your keyword when it comes to psychodynamic theory. So Freud illustrated an iceberg. Okay? Do you know what is an iceberg? An iceberg is a piece of huge rock. No, it's not a rock. It's ice in the middle of the sea or body of water. Okay? It's like the house of the polar bears. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Freud explained or used the term iceberg. Why? Because he explained that the most important part of the mind is the invisible, but form the biggest chunk. That invisible piece form the biggest chunk. Okay? Freud added that our childhood experiences when we were a really little baby, when we were literally a newborn or a 1-year-old until our 7th year, okay? From baby or 1-year-old until we turn 7, that those experiences during that time range is the most crucial, okay? That those experiences give the most crucial impact on our personality. Okay? The experiences we experience or happen to us when we were young, when we were on our early phase, before we turn 7, those experiences it's the most crucial part in the formation of our personality. Okay. Second one is what we call behaviorist theory. Okay, let me give you an example of who people who are behaviorists. First is Pavlov. Second is Thorndike and Skinner. And then the last one that I can give as an example is who we called Watson, like the drugstore Watson. Okay, now let's continue. So for behaviorists, we call those people who believes in behavioral theory as behaviorists. Okay, and for behaviorists, psychology is not the study of the soul, but it is the science of behavior. That's the keyword, behavior. Okay, because we are looking in what perspective, in what lens. The behavioral theory, the behavioral lens. So meaning the keyword here is what? Behavior. In psychodynamic theory, the keyword is unconscious mind. In behavioral theory, the keyword is what? Behavior. Okay, let's move on. Let's go on. Behaviorist explains that an individual behavior cannot be determined and explained through mental events, but can be observed on how they react to a stimuli. What is a stimuli? stimuli is an agent, such like your environmental changes, that directly influences that activity, okay? It generates an action. Your stimuli, like, it affects you and make you do actions. You know, like, for example, an ant bit me. Kinagat ako ng langgam. The ant is my stimuli. The pain from that ant's bite is the stimuli, and how I reacted how I react is what you call the reaction from the stimuli. Do you get it? 1 BSE. Oh, 1 BSE. I hope you do get it. Now, let's move on. Like, you might ask, what about those people who have like ADHD or the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or those people who have autism? There is this called ABA. What is ABA? ABA, it is the applied behavior analysis, and it is a therapeutic technique developed by the behaviorist for neurodiverse individuals. We call those our people that have disorders like autism and ADHD, the neurodiverse individuals, okay? Let's move on. Now, let's talk about the social cognitive theory. The social cognitive theory is a theory that is promoted by Albert Bandura. Now, before we go down to it, let's first know who this Albert Bandura is. So, Albert Bandura, he is a Canadian-American psychologist that teaches psychology in Stanford University. Okay? Let's go on. He believes that learning occurs in a social context with interaction of the person, environment, and behavior. Means he believes that learning occurs when there is an interaction, when there is like social interaction between two people, or the person and the environment, or the person and the behavior. Okay? He believes that learning is what? From social interaction, and that's gonna be your keyword in social cognitive theory. Okay? Your keyword will be social interaction, and interaction. Okay? Now, let's move on. It emphasizes on social and its social reinforcements. Okay? And he also believes that a person's personality is derived from experiences and social forces through social interaction. Okay? He believes that a person's personality is derived from experiences and social interactions, which means you develop your personality, your behaviors through social interaction and social context. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay? Do you understand the concept of social cognitive theory? It's all about social interaction. How social interaction influences your personality, how you learn in by social interactions. That it's all about social interaction and social. And under social cognitive theory, they recognizes the past experiences that may influence expectations, expectancies, and reinforcements. But what do you call those three? The expectation, expectancies, and reinforcement. It is called the factors that contributes to the behavior of a person. Okay? Those are the factors that influences or contributes to the behavior of a person. Okay? Do you understand? Do you get the concept? Do you now get the concept of social cognitive theory? I hope you do, because we're now moving on to our next theory. Let's now move on for the last theory that I will discuss. The humanist or existentialist theory. Under the humanist or existentialist theory, the reaction to the dominance of psychoanalysis and behaviorism in the field of psychology. So there is a dominance or the relationship of psychoanalysis and what? Behaviorism. Let's now down deeper. That's just an appetizer. There's more into this. Okay, let's now go down. Emphasizes the the humanist existentialist theory emphasizes at the whole individual and stresses such as free will, self-efficiency, self-efficacy, self-actualization, and what? Meaning. Which means that in humanist or existentialist theory, your keyword will be yourself. Your meaning to life. You. You are the keyword here, honey. In humanist or existentialist theory, it's about the importance or the finding of meaning of our lives. Okay? It aims to help an individual to find the meaning of their lives. Okay? So if you don't know what's your purpose in life and what's the meaning of your life, I think you should research this one. It will help you, I think. But I wish that all of you know now what is the meaning or purposes of your life. Let's now move on. Their fundamental belief is people, us, are innately good. What do you mean by innate? We studied this at linguistic. What do you mean by innate? It means it's like natural. It happens naturally. Do you get it? Okay? That's what you mean by innate. It's like natural. Okay? Their fundamental belief is that people are innate. We are innately good, and the mental and social problem is just result of lack or absence of awareness. Means it's saying that our problems, like social and mental problems, are because we lack awareness, because we are not aware. That's the answer to my problems, to our problems, because we are not aware. That is what is like in humanist or existentialist theory. It's like this. You have problems because you lack awareness. Just like that. Yes. In this theory, they also say that we have our own agency in our bodies that motivate us to use our free will to pursue things. What kinds of things? For example, our full potential, like the maximum of us as human beings. Okay? Do you get it? Now, let us go down. My hair is not having it. Anyway, let's go down to the last one, okay? They say that the key motivator to all behavior is our self-realization, finding meaning, and personal growth. Those three, the self-realization, finding meaning, and personal growth, is the key motivators of all of our behaviors, okay? In humanist or existentialist theory, they are saying that our self-realization, our finding meaning, and our personal growth is our what? Key motivator to all of our behaviors. Okay? Now that I have already explained to you what is psychology and the first theories, the first four theories are, first is the psychodynamic theory. The second is the behaviorist theory, okay? And the social cognitive theory, and then the last one, the humanist or existentialist theory. Now, I'm gonna pass the mic to our next reporter, Miss Leilani. Take the sense. Go get it, girl.
So hello, I'm Leilani B. Cabañas. So my topic is all about the Psikolohiyang Pilipino or the Filipino psychology and the self. So what is Filipino psychology? So it states that it is particularistic psychology born out the experience, thought, and orientation of Filipinos based on the full use of Filipino culture and language. And then also, it is based on the assessing historical and socio-cultural realities, understanding the local language, and revealing Filipino characteristics and explaining them through the eyes of native Filipino. So this result, body of knowledge which is include indigenous concept and methods. In short, psychology is appropriate and significant in Filipino. So, Virgilio Enriquez defines Kolohiyang Pilipino as the study of diwa. So according to Virgilio Enriquez, diwa or psyche refers to the philosophical concept of essence and range philosophical concept from awareness to motive to behavior. And then also according to Enriquez, our diwa is compilation of these two, which is the concept of psychological concept and then the philosophical concept. So next is let us know who is Virgilio Gaspar Enriquez. So Virgilio Gaspar Enriquez is the father of Psikolohiyang Pilipino. He born in Bulacan on November 24, 1942. He is the youngest child of Arsenio Enriquez and Rosario Gaspar Enriquez. So formally initiated into psychology on 1963, and in 1966 he left for United States to pursue a master and later on a doctoral degree in psychology at Northwestern Evanston. So he died on August 31, 1994 at 51 years old. So let's move on to the basic tenets and principle of the Filipino of the psychology or the Filipino psychology. So the basic and tenets principle of psychology of the Filipino, according to Virgilio Gaspar Enriquez, has several values. And the first values is accommodative surface values. So these values are expected by their neighbors to repay favors when they are required or desire, whether or not they ask for using the psychological Filipino behavior patterns and values. Structure when he designated the word first is hiya. So hiya is loosely translated as shame by most Western psychologists. It is actually sense of property. So that means the word hiya is the uncomfortable feeling in the socially unacceptable situation. So next is utang na loob. So utang na loob is the norms of reciprocity. Filipinos are expected by their neighbors to return favors, whether it is asked for or not, which is needed or wanted. So means, utang na loob is not debt system, but a responsibility for the greater good, and it may have the negative connotation. So last in accommodative surface values is the pakikisama and pakikipagkapwa. So, pakikisama and pakikipagkapwa is a smooth interpersonal relationship or SIR as coined by Lynch on 1961 and 1973. This attitude is primarily guided by conformity and majority. So, in pakikisama or the companionship is not just a conformity, but pakikipagkapwa to make it different. So Enriquez explained that Filipino are quick to help others, even if they themselves are need. So in pakikisama and pakikipagkapwa, we find solace, inspiration, and purpose from our family and friends. Next is confrontative surface values. So confrontative surface values, it refers to the ability of Filipino to undertake revolution and uprising against a common enemy. So under confrontative values, we have the word bahala na. Bahala na is the attitude loosely translated into English as fatalistic passiveness. Actually describe the Filipino way of life. So, it came from the phrase "bahala na," means I will do my best, let God take the rest. So, next is the word lakas ng loob. Lakas ng loob is characterized by being courageous in the midst of problems and uncertainties. So, next is pakikibaka. Pakikibaka, it means concurrent clashes. Means it refers to the ability of Filipino to undertake revolutions and uprising against common enemy. So next is a core or kapwa psychology. So core or kapwa psychology is a recognition of the shared identity and others. Core and kapwa psychology have two categories. Number one is ibang tao or outsider, and hindi ibang tao or one of you. So, under the outsider have 5 domains, which are pakikitungo, number 2, pakikisalamuha, number 3, pakikibagay, number 4, pakikilahok, and number 5 is pakikisama. So, under the one of us is pakikipagpalagayang loob, pakikisangkot, and then pakikiisa. So, next values is pivotal interpersonal values. So, under pivotal interpersonal values is called pakikiramdam. So, Filipinos are used of damdam or inner perception of other emotion as basic tools to guide his dealings with other people. And then, number 2 is linking social personal values. Or under the linking social personal values is kagandahang loob, or the shared humanity. So, it refers to being able to help each other, people in their need due to perception of being together, a part of one Filipino humanity. The societal values. Under societal values is, number 1 is karangalan. Karangalan is loosely translated to dignity. This is actually refers to what other people see in a person and how use that information to make a stand or judge about his or her. So, under karangalan is puri and dangal. Puri is the external aspect of dignity, while the dangal is the internal aspect of dignity. So, puri may refer on how other people or other person judge on a person of his worth. While the dangal, it is refers on how person judge on his own worth. Next is katarungan. Katarungan is loosely translated to justice. This actually refers to equity given towards a person. Last is kalayaan or the freedom and mobility. So, kalayaan is, ironically, this may clash with the less important values of pakikisama or pakikibagay. Next is the adolescent psychological self and mental health. So, psychological well-being. So, psychological well-being refers to inter- and intra-individual levels of positive functioning that can conclude relatedness with other and self-referent attitude that include one's sense of mastery and personal growth. So, inter means the outside self and intra means the inner self. So, self-referent means referring back to yourself. You have the ability to grow back to yourself. So, I have here the videos explaining the connection of our brain with our mental health. So, let's watch this.
You or someone you know may have been diagnosed with a mental health problem, also known as a psychiatric disorder. This video will help you understand how the brain works in mental health and how problems can cause mental illness. Mental health is your ability to handle or cope with stress and enjoy daily life. It includes the way you feel, think, act, and relate to others. Scientists study how certain brain areas affect mental health. For example, the fear area of the brain, called the amygdala, helps you avoid harmful things and escape danger. In addition, the amygdala works with the prefrontal cortex to control your response to fearful and stressful events. The prefrontal cortex also helps you make decisions, solve problems, and recall memories. The anterior cingulate cortex helps you focus on tasks and control emotions. The hippocampus helps make and store new memories. The working units of the brain are cells called neurons, also known as brain cells. Neurons pass messages to each other through electrical impulses. The impulses pass along a part of the neuron called the axon. Here's a closer look at how a message passes from one neuron to another. At the end of the axon, the impulse causes the neuron to release chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. These chemical messengers move across a tiny space called a synaptic gap and attach to another neuron. This triggers the neuron to produce its own impulse. In this way, impulses spread across the brain. Problems with this process may result in brain disorders known as mental illnesses. All the causes of mental illness aren't known. However, a number of factors may contribute to it. Some of these factors are a family history of mental illness, which can be passed from parent to child through genes, severe emotional or stressful life events, or a head or brain injury. Other factors may include health problems such as heart disease, problems with other chemicals in the body called hormones, drug abuse and addiction, and an imbalance of chemical messengers in the brain. When there is an imbalance of chemical messengers in the brain, neurons may have trouble passing messages between each other. The most common chemical messenger is glutamate. It increases the chance that an impulse will form in other neurons. People with mental illnesses such as autism, obsessive-compulsive disorder, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's disease, and depression may have problems making or using glutamate. Serotonin, another chemical messenger, helps control mood, hunger, and sleep. For example, people with depression often don't have enough serotonin. Dopamine helps control movement and is involved with feelings of pleasure and addiction. Low dopamine levels, or problems with the brain's ability to use it, may be linked to schizophrenia, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, and other disorders. An estimated 43.7 million adults in the United States have some type of mental illness. Modern research tools and advanced technology will allow scientists to better understand the brain and how mental illness occurs. If you have questions about mental health or any medications you have been prescribed, speak with your healthcare professional or doctor. It is important to take your medications as directed by your healthcare professional or doctor. Tell them about any side effects you experience.
So the video is all about how brains works with our mental health. So next is the adolescent psychological self and mental health. So adolescents are more likely to, number 1, act on impulsive. Number 2, misread or misinterpret social cues and emotion. Number 3, get involved in fights. Number 4, engage in dangerous or risky behavior. And then next is adolescents less likely to, number 1, think before they act. Number 2, pause to consider the consequences on their actions. Number 3 is change their dangerous inappropriate behavior. Adolescent psychological self and mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects on how we think, feel, and act. So on our RA 11036 or the Mental Health Act, an act establishing a national mental health policy for the purpose of enhancing the delivery of integrated health services, promoting and protecting the rights of persons utilizing psychiatrists, neurologic, and psychosocial health services, appropriating funds, therefore, and for other purposes. So, in this Mental Health Act states that an act establishing a national purpose of person with mental health needs, mental health professionals, provides mental health services down to the barangays, integrated psychiatrists, psychosocial, and neurologic services in regional, provincial, and tertiary hospital, and improve our mental health care facilities, and promotes mental health education in our school and workplace. So that's all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Jana Maybe Pinga, and I will discuss you about the tips for good mental health. So first is to build relationship. So what is build relationship? The most important factor that contributes to a sense of well-being as having a positive mind and relationship with others. This include the family, friends, other people surround you, and also investing time and effort so that you can build a relationship. So I learned at a young age that you can never feel lonely if you can connect. So we have to connect with people and our lives, and we can become having a memories. We're always feel surrounded by the people that cared and love us. So relation with others was something we can create and form of a building relationships or connections that can be huge part of our life. The next one is exercise and stay healthy. So it has been shown to improve mood and alleviate depression and anxiety symptoms, and also do healthy diet, avoid drinking and excessive alcohol or drugs. So, and also it could be better if you're going to see a doctor on a regular basis. So it can help your mental health because they can advise and how you cope with your problems, how you face your problems, and to handle it. I know it can be help about your situation to be less or hard to you, and also seeing a doctor is really improve your mental health. Next is develop gratitude. So what is develop gratitude? Maintain a gratitude journal and record 3 positive things every day. This can lead to increased happiness. It's easy to think that of 3 things, and as you write them down and take a moment to emote, to have an action and feel grateful. And if you do this exercise every day or as much as possible, you can become more happier, and also you can become much more comfortable to yourself. Identify and use your strengths. So everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, but recognizing and capitalize it on your own, and they say critical. We all have our own strengths, which is important to know about that because it can help you to stand better and chance the finding a solution, and also it can increase your hope and happiness in your life. So next is create flow. This is usually occurs when the difficulty level is just right for your skill level and engaging in hobbies, creative arts, or sports. So give to others. Even small contribution to the community improves social well-being. So give to others is like your generosity is like it is something else that we are expecting nothing. and in return at no point. Like for example, I did something for him. Why won't he help me? It is such an equation. It is designed to help you feel good and also giving us a feeling, which is we can when we can do something for someone else just to encourage us to do it. Next is the spirituality or religion. So spiritual or religious practices can improve one's well-being, help with stress management, and also alleviate symptoms of mental illness. So let me first define what I mean by spirituality and religion. Specifically, spirituality that means a connection to God, which is you have a connection to God to have an inspiration to pray with God and also talk with God. And while our religion is actually an organization, it's like our organized spirituality. There's a leader, there's a group of people together in a church. Like for example, the youth, they praising God together, and also they are the members of the young ones, members of the youth. Next is to seek help. Seek help if you're having a trouble finding happiness and coping with your daily life. Consult with your doctor and or a mental health professional. So I think everybody knows what they are start having a trouble. Also a problem because of the stigma of mental illness. So who develop depression, they will try to look for a help, seek for help but they are unable to say. So when you look for help as soon as possible, because you can start to treat illness and be better, start to seek help when you are unable to function during your problem. Next is the shared inner self and the shared perception. So, in Filipino, the linguistic unity of the self and the other is unique and unlike in most modern languages, which is openness. It implies a moral obligation to treat one another as equal human beings. If we can do this, even if it is a start with our own families or group of friends. So, pakiramdam is a necessary shared inner perception that complements kapwa's shared identity. And it is an emotional presupposition that comes with being a Filipino. So connecting with others or feeling yourself also having a sense of shared, which is identity, which is inner self, and are all part of it. We shared sense of human identity. I know some of you are relate this kind of this topic, and shared perception. This guiding emotion sets us in motion and spontaneous voluntary actions, which is that accompany our self-sharing, and also like in all actions, we're motivated by our strong inner feeling, like the Filipino feeling, or we can call it the pakiramdam. Next is the shared humanity. So shared humanity, it is the desire to connect with others. It is one of the most important aspects of our shared humanity. So our shared humanity to many people are divided by our politics, religion, nationality, ethnicity, but the fact we are all human. I feel that this is what we must acknowledge. So just like when we engage with one another, we begin from our foundation, that we begin another's humanity, so we can learn to see ourselves into other. So what that we can reflect to them. Unconscious mind serve as a repository for feelings, thoughts, desires, and memories that we are all unaware of. The unconscious and contains contents that are unreasonable and unacceptable, such as pain, anxiety, or the conflict. Mental health. Mental health, our emotions, psychological, and social well being all have an impact in our mental health. So it has impact on how we think, feel, and also act. And it also influences how we deal with the stress, interact with others, and make healthy choices. So it affects how we think and act. Well, based on my observance, thoroughly 90% of all suicides are related to mental health. It is mental illness, and mental well-being is part of the definition of health. So mental health also is frequently stigmatized around the world, so we can notice it, right? Right, we may not say that someone with a mental illness or mental health condition cannot be harmful, while a mental illness may not always be visible to a person on the outside. It doesn't mean that someone isn't hurting on the inside. So as much as possible, we need to seek and set an awareness into such as mental health problem.